Please, God.
This is God.
First, head over to PCSX2.net and click on the latest stable button. You'll see several download options. Choose the installer version. That's the easiest one to set up. Once the download finishes, go ahead and open the installer. You might get a warning from Windows Defender saying it's a virus, but don't worry. It's a false positive. On the first screen, make sure to select Portable Installation because it keeps everything, your settings, save files, and memory cards inside one self-contained folder. Super convenient if you ever need to back things up or move the emulator to somewhere else. Next, choose your installation location. I recommend sticking with the default path, usually on your C drive. Hit Next, then Next again. Personally, I like having a shortcut of my desktop, so I'll check that box too. Click Next again and wait for the installation to finish. Once it's done, you can go ahead and launch PCSX2. When you launch PCSX2 for the first time, you'll be greeted by the setup wizard. First, choose your language. I'm sticking with the default English. You can also change the emulator's theme here. The default is dark fusion gray, but there are a few other styles to pick from. I recommend keeping Enable Automatic Updates checked. That way you'll always get the latest bug fixes and performance improvements without doing anything manually. Click Next to continue. Now we get to a crucial step, adding your BIOS files. This is important, and I have to emphasize this part. You cannot download the BIOS from the PCSX2 website due to legal reasons. You're supposed to dump it from your own PS2 console. That said, many users do a quick Google search to find it online, but make sure you're using a trusted source. Once you have your BIOS files ready, click Open BIOS folder and simply drag and drop your BIOS files into that folder. Then hit Refresh List. And if you've done it correctly, your BIOS files will appear in the list. You might see regions like Europe, Japan, or USA. In this video, I'm going with USA for the setup. Next, we need to tell PCSX2 where to find your game ROMs. PCSX2 can read different file types including ISOs, bin files, and etc. Most game ROMs are in ISO format, so make sure that your game files are in the right format in order for PCSX2 to recognize them. Click Add, then browse to the folder where you've stored your games. In my case, they're on an external hard drive in a folder called PS2. Click Select Folder and PCSX2 will ask if you want to scan that folder for games. Click Yes. Now click Next to move on. Time to set up your controllers. Controller port 1 is for player 1. Make sure the controller type is set to DualShock 2. To assign a controller, go to Automatic Mapping, and from the drop-down menu, select your device. I'm using a PS4 controller, so I'll map it to port. You can also configure player 2 at this stage if you have a second controller. Keep in mind the X input controllers are Xbox controllers. Once you're all set, click Next one more time. Now, as you can see, this setup is complete. You can just hit Finish. Now PCSX2 will load up and scan your ROMs.
Now just a minute to talk with you about Freebies TV Discord channel. Most of you know that this channel used to provide licenses for applications from iTop, iAbit, ESET, or Avast VPN. We continue to provide this licenses in our Discord page. Plus, we are also sharing games for PC and games for the PlayStation 2 emulator. The link for our Discord channel is in the description. But we are only accepting subscribers, and if you appear in the Discord page without being a subscriber, we'll kick you out.
Once your games appear, we're ready to move into settings for optimizations. So first we're going to head over to Settings, then Interface. Under Game Display, check the box for Start Full Screen. This way, every time you launch a game, it'll open in full screen automatically. You can also switch between update channels here. PCSX 2 offers nightly builds. These get updated constantly with the latest features, but they might be buggy. If you want maximum stability, I recommend sticking with the stable channel, but otherwise choose nightly. Now go to the Game List section. If you ever add new ROMs while PCSX 2 is open, just click Scan for new games to refresh your list. In the BIOS tab, you can switch to a different BIOS if you ever want to change the one you originally selected during setup. For emulation, don't touch anything yet. Defaults are ideal here for compatibility with most games. Now, let's jump to the most important section, graphics. If your PC or laptop has a modern dedicated graphics card, anything from the last 4 or 5 years, change the renderer to Vulkan. It offers the best balance of performance and compatibility. If you're on older hardware, try OpenGL or DirectX 12 or 11. Usually for older hardware, OpenGL works better. Under Adapter, choose your dedicated GPU. In my case, it's NVIDIA GTX 1660Ti. If you're on integrated graphics, you'll see your CPU listed here instead. For aspect ratio, it's better to leave this on auto if you want the original PS2 experience. I personally prefer auto as well. It works great, and widescreen patches can still be enabled separately without any issues. Now, go to the Rendering tab. The most important setting for your game's look is the internal resolution. Choose the internal resolution based on your monitor's native resolution. For example, I'm using a 1080p monitor, so I'll stick with 3x native. Keep in mind you can bump this number up to 12x native. That's around 8K. If you're on integrated graphics or an older setup, start at native and adjust based on performance. In order to make your textures look crisp, especially at angles, you can set an isotropic filtering to 16x. It has almost no impact on performance, but looks way better. I also usually turn off dithering for cleaner visuals. Most of the remaining options are better left at their default settings. PCSX 2 will often auto-detect the best configuration per game. One setting to keep an eye on is blending accuracy. This one is very heavy on the CPU, so only increase it if your system can handle it or if a game recommends it. Under the Post-Processing tab, I usually enable FXAA for anti-aliasing. You can also enable Fidelity FX Super Resolution or CAS for sharpening effect. The post-processing is mostly up to you. If you want to monitor your FPS, go to the OSD tab and check Show FPS. We're not changing anything under audio. Defaults work just fine. Now, let's create a memory card so you can save your game's progress. Click Create. Name the memory card and leave the size at 8 megabytes. Click OK. Now right-click on your new card and select Use for Slot 1. Click Close, and now we're finished with the global settings. Now, let's get to enabling patches and changing the per-game settings. For example, in this tutorial, I want to play TNMT 2 Battle Nexus as an example. I'm going to right-click on the game, click on Properties. Then, on the left panel, I'm going to head over to the Patches tab. As you can see, there is a patch for widescreen and 60 frames per second. In order to enable the patches, just check the box next to Enabled. That's it. It's important to note that not every game has patches, including widescreen patch. Some games might even have multiple patches for things like bug fixes, translations, or even 60 FPS unlocks. Now, let's try another game. Ratchet and clank up your arsenal. First, I'm going to enable the game patches for this title. Then I'll go ahead and start the game. As you can see in the top left corner, PCSX 2 is giving us a helpful tip. It recommends setting blending accuracy to high for this game. Instead of quitting the game, I'll quickly apply this change through. For Game Settings, I'll double-click my mouse to bring up the menu. Head to Settings, Game Properties, go for the Graphics tab, and under Blending Accuracy, I'll change it to High. Then hit Save. PCSX 2 will now remember these settings just for this game. There is also another way to access per game settings. Just hit the Escape key on your keyboard to pause the game. Then go to the Game Properties, and from there you will have the access to change the same settings. That's it. Thanks for watching. If this video helped you get PCSX 2 running quickly and smoothly, make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment if you have any questions or want a specific tutorial next.